Do kids today care more about Roblox lobbies than hanging out with their friends on the playground? Are digital spaces rapidly replacing our third places? Does being close to your friends in a video game mean the same thing as being close to them in real life? And what are devs doing to address the need for community in their own video games? There's been something happening. Something that's been corroding the American psyche, that has many causes and many symptoms, and something that affects nearly everybody. I'm talking about the death of the third place. The death of the third place refers to the lack of spaces outside of work and outside of the home. But there is an emerging space that can fulfill this need. And I'm talking, of course, about video games and digital spaces. Young people are establishing themselves in digital spaces now more than ever. So join me today as we talk about the rise of digital spaces, the different digital communities that we find ourselves a part of, and whether or not they are a true, real replacement for physical third places. It might surprise you. My name is Lucas. Let's get into it. The third place is a term coined by sociologist Ray Oldenburg in his book, The Great Third Place. It is defined as a place away from home or away from work, such as a cafe, a barbershop, a park, a bookstore, etc. Your third place is where you relax and where you encounter familiar faces or make new acquaintances. And the third place gives you a sense of community and a sense of place. Oldenburg asserted that informal gathering places such as these are crucial for fostering community and civility. These spaces, where conversation takes center stage and gatherings are unplanned and consistent, serve as equalizers in the community and transcend distinctions of class or status or even race. Oldenburg argued that the decline of the third place has contributed to the erosion of community, civility, and increased isolation and division within American society. It's hard to feel connected to a community when you really have nowhere to go. Now we're going to be covering a bunch of different games on this video. First, I want to talk about MMOs, or massively multiplayer online RPGs. Things like World of Warcraft, Final Fantasy XIV, and my beloved old school RuneScape. MMORPGs have done a fantastic job of creating digital community spaces where players can visibly see each other while doing all sorts of activities, even if they are not directly interacting with each other. We see this in World of Warcraft with trade districts, we see this in old school RuneScape with things like the Grand Exchange, or even the Tower in Destiny. And although we are not directly interacting with our fellow players, seeing others online in a digital plaza, as I like to call it, helps us get a sense of others playing at the same time as us, and therefore a sense of community, a sense of place. And most MMOs actually purposely design their spaces in this way in order to get players to congregate in a singular area. On top of just digital plazas, we also have the formation of things like guilds. For some, raiding in World of Warcraft or Final Fantasy XIV is like a weekly softball game. You log in, you get a little serious, and you try to achieve a goal as a team and move forward and progress into the end game. In other words, communities must form in order to have success in the game. Guilds now don't just exist inside of a video game, but they actually exist inside of Discord servers and group chats all across the board, and have essentially become niche friend groups. Guilds and gaming groups have become strong social bonds that genuinely replace social interactions in real life.
We're a collection of people that are accepting with every viewpoint of life. Politics, religion, sexual identity. We're a safe space for everybody that needs to be safe.
According to a 2012 New York Times article by Alex Williams, Rebecca G. Adams, a professor of sociology and gerontology at the University of North Carolina at Greensboro, says that there are three main factors that contribute to a long-lasting friendship. 1. Repeated and unplanned social interactions. 2. A setting that encourages people to let their guard down. And 3. Close proximity. Now, video games actually easily meet both of these requirements, with repeated unplanned social interactions and a setting that encourages people to let their guards down. Honestly, I can't think of a more unfiltered place than an online game lobby, let's be honest, but that's a whole nother video altogether.
I said your mom's probably not home. That's where you're f***ing swearing all the time.
No, they actually watch. You want me to go get my dad? I'll even say.
Yeah, go get your
Dad!
dad.
But proximity is an interesting one here. Can we say that being close in a digital space is the same thing as being close in real life? According to a Deloitte study, young people today do see these online interactions as meaningful. We found some fascinating results about the way young people actually view the digital spaces that they live in video games. If you take a look at this graph, for younger generations, online experiences have become a meaningful part of their lives. Over 50% of Gen Z and millennials say, "I believe online experiences are meaningful replacements for in-person experiences." And 40% say, "I socialize more in video games than I do in the physical world." If you look at this graph right here, 76% of Gen Z and millennials say, "Personalizing my game character or avatar helps me express myself." If you look at this next one, 76% say video games allow me to feel like I am part of the story rather than just watching it. And 73% say experiencing success in video games boosts my self-confidence. And if you look at this figure right here, 62% of committed gamers say meeting up with friends in video games is an important way for us to spend time together. And we can see that many of these digital spaces are becoming real replacements and sometimes even proxies for real life. Just take a look at GTA role-playing servers, or even Roblox lobbies. Here I sat down with one of our contributors, Orion, to talk about how Roblox lobbies have taken control of a lot of the online digital space for kids today.
Over time, over the last, I don't know, maybe 25, 30 years, like it has really changed a lot. And, you know, my youngest daughters are in 3rd and 5th grade, and there is still a component of, you know, social space, mainly having to do with, like, you know, sports and everything. But, you know, they both play Roblox, they both have iPads, and it's, rather than setting play dates with their friends, it's, hey, what's your ID so I can add you as a friend as soon as we get home. We can hop in like an obby to play, like, you know, certain games and everything like that. So I think it's been going that way for quite a while, and honestly, over time, it'll probably go even more in that direction, which is kind of scary, but that, in a way, kind of cool at the same time too. They can only play outside for so long, and, you know, if their friends are playing on there too, it's kind of the new norm, though, in a sense, because, you know, like, my 2 youngest daughters, like I said, they both play. They each have their own iPads. They will literally sit side by side next to each other on the iPads and also be playing on Roblox together instead of playing like a board game or on the Switch or, you know, something like that. So I think it's been evolving for a long time to go more in that direction. I think it's just going to continue to do that, where it's just going to socially accepted to be the norm for kids especially.
Another thing I wanted to touch on here are communal spaces related to gaming. Things like Discord and Twitch and game streaming in general. Now, for those of you that don't know, Discord is a multi-platform digital communication tool that allows you to chat with friends while you game. But Discord has become something much bigger by being a meeting place for vast communities, including sports gambling groups, fan clubs, and it's also just a way for developers to directly communicate with their player base. Hanging in Discord has replaced in-person game nights, poker nights, or recreational activities for a lot of Gen Z and millennial folks today. One feature of Discord that is very important to note is the ability to stream to your fellow Discord server friends directly inside of the app. People can chat, watch each other game, and generally just hang out. It's not uncommon to hear people simply say, "I'm hanging in Discord if anyone wants to chill." Also, you guys should totally just join our Discord server, link in the description. And that brings us to Twitch. The communal aspect of Twitch has spawned an entire culture for young people today, allowing us to perceive and be perceived by our peers like never before. Twitch becomes a meeting place for members of a community, and it often revolves around a love for a particular personality or a love for a game. In the same way people hang out in Discord, people hang out in Twitch chats, interacting with their favorite streamer while they play their favorite game. And you get a sense of community when you're chatting along with others in the chat at the same time. Twitch has spawned an entire subculture all its own, with its own lingo, visual language, celebrities, newcomers, award ceremonies, and even historical moments. All of it existing between us and the screen.
Bling bang in it, got the loud, bitch, the noise, everybody get in. You were not badass, beat, keep on going, yeah, hit this spot, whoa.
Yeah. Or we have an event like Twitch Plays Pokemon, a community-driven playthrough that allows everyone to feel part of the grand experience together. The entire premise is based on eventizing a community interaction with Twitch. Or how about the Fortnite concerts? Back in 2020, during the COVID pandemic lockdown, we saw thousands of players experience a digital concert of Travis Scott in the game Fortnite. While this was a necessity at the time, this hasn't stopped Fortnite from doing other eventized community events that are all experienced via our digital avatars in a digital space at the same time. In fact, many Gen Z kids these days look back with so much nostalgia about the Travis Scott Fortnite concert in 2020 that they actually view it as a significant event that they were all a part of in a digital space. Another recent example we could take a look at is Helldivers 2's percentage meters on all the planets. In Helldivers 2, the community is tasked with freeing a planet from either the automaton threat or the bug invasion. Helldivers 2 has a percentage meter that is used to represent how many missions need to be run on that planet. The more players that run missions on that planet, the more we free the planet, and the percentage goes up. In some cases, the devs have released content based on freeing a planet, and the massive player base on social media gets to celebrate with memes and tweets. These days, it isn't just about logging into a game where you can see other players in a plaza. It isn't just about hanging out in a Discord server. It's a combination of everything we talked about. When you play a video game these days, you're checking in on the subreddit for the game, seeing memes or TikTok clips of that game, or you're streaming it to friends and checking on Twitch streamers who also play the game. It's no wonder that the first thing anyone asks when they pick up a new game is, how's the community? Now, although digital community spaces are a great way for us to interact with our friends and family members, they don't completely replace physical communications in the real world. Two of the key differences being community safety nets and communal values. Physical locations and communities give us a sense of protection. This is because third places become anchors in their communities, a place where people can be seen regularly, where a neighbor of yours is not seen in the regular park, library, plaza, or barbershop for an extended period of time. It could sound the alarms and signal other neighbors to go check on that person. In the book Heat Wave by Eric Kleinenberg, he examines the effects of the 1995 heat wave in Chicago. He closely examined why some neighborhoods in Chicago experienced significantly higher death rates during that period than others. What he found was that the neighborhoods with lower rates had a higher sense of community. During the 1995 heat wave, if neighbors had not been seen for several days in their third place, it sounded the alarms for them so they could be checked on. In many ways, regular neighborhood bonds can create safety nets for us. This obviously is something that video games cannot accommodate for, although seeing that one Steam friend who hasn't been online for years, it does make me worry for them. The other key distinction is communal values, something that digital spaces definitely lack. Neighborhoods are often formed by people of similar ethnic backgrounds or similar socioeconomic backgrounds as well. One of Ray Oldenburg's arguments for third places is that they are important to democracy and civic engagement. This is because similar groups of people can understand each other, their similarities, and their needs as a community to the broader city, state, or national level. If your third place is your local church, then you could find commonality in the shared spiritual value that you all possess. If your third place is a barbershop, then common values on subcultures, local styles, local trends can help create communal values altogether. In digital spaces such as video games, we don't have those sorts of communal values locked in. Our commonality is the love and appreciation for the digital space itself. We might find common values in hating a game or hating a game's message or themes, but it wouldn't categorize that as a value, really. Games today are intrinsically tied to their community. We have game awards associated with game communities, we have entire job sectors dedicated to interacting with the community, and we tell ourselves, yeah, the game's great. And the community is pretty amazing too. And on top of that, we have had a shift culturally in social interactions. Political and social divides are larger than any other time in America, and not to mention COVID-19. Interacting with fellow humans in a true physical third place is becoming more and more challenging. So as the third place in America continues to be on the decline, our digital community-driven gaming spaces serve as a wonderful alternative to the problem. Video games these days are not solitary as we once thought. Nearly every commercial game aims to be one that fosters a long-term, healthy, and fun community. Video games also show signs of having a positive impact on mental health and oftentimes are more accessible than a physical location, many age groups and socioeconomic classes. And with the growing popularity of VR in our world, who knows where our digital spaces will go next. If you guys like this video, please like this video, leave a comment, let me know what you think. We are Thanks for Playing. We are a video game podcast releasing new episodes every single Thursday. Check us out on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your favorite shows.